Sometimes a single moment, a single decision can change the entire course of history. We're going to talk about one of those moments today, a story from early Makkah where a city was literally on the verge of tearing itself apart until one person stepped in. This is about how one brilliant act of wisdom stopped a war before it could even begin. So that really brings us to the big question, right? How can one person with one idea pull an entire society back from the brink? It's all about leadership, about finding that common ground when everything seems to be falling apart. Keep that question in your mind as we unpack this amazing story. Okay, so let's set the scene. In Makkah, the sacred Kaaba is being rebuilt. This is a huge deal for everyone, a massive community effort. They're almost done, but there's one final crucial step, placing the sacred black stone, the Hajar Aswad, back into its corner. And let me tell you, this wasn't just about laying a brick. This was seen as a supreme, once-in-a-lifetime honor. And that's where the trouble starts. See, this wasn't about just finishing the job. This was about prestige, about legacy. Every single one of the powerful tribes in Makkah felt that they, and only they, deserved that honor. So what should have been this beautiful moment of unity, well, it was quickly turning into a dangerous flashpoint for conflict. And this wasn't some minor disagreement. Oh no, this thing escalated, and it escalated fast. The whole city was suddenly split along tribal lines. All that sense of shared purpose just vanished. And in its place, deep, dangerous division. The peace was about to shatter. And here's just how serious it got. The historical sources put it in these two simple, chilling words. Daggers were drawn. That's not a metaphor. People were literally ready to fight and die over this. You can just feel the tension, a whole city holding its breath, just one wrong move away from total chaos. We have to understand the stakes were unbelievably high. This wasn't going to be some small tribal skirmish. The sources warned that this could have ignited one of the bloodiest and disastrous of all the wars of that whole era. An entire society was about to implode, all over who got to place a single stone. So just when it feels like violence is absolutely inevitable, somebody steps up. An elder cuts through all that tension with a totally unexpected idea, a proposal that would change absolutely everything. This elder, Abu Umayyah bin Mughira, comes up with a plan that's just genius in its simplicity. He says, look, instead of us arguing about who deserves it most, let's take ourselves out of the equation. Let's let fate, or maybe something bigger, decide for us. The deal was, the very next person to walk through that gate, he'll be the judge. And amazingly, they all agreed. For now, the daggers were put away. Can you just imagine that scene? All these powerful, proud tribal leaders just standing there, waiting, watching that entrance. Their entire future was hanging on who would be the next person to walk through that gate. And the first person to walk in, it was the Prophet Muhammad. And instantly, all that tension just breaks. A huge, pleased shout of Al-Ameen just fills the air. Al-Ameen means the trustworthy one. Think about that. Before he even said a single word, his reputation for being fair and just completely calmed the crisis. They knew, right then and there, they could trust whatever he decided. So now all eyes are on him. How on earth is he going to solve this impossible problem? He doesn't pick one tribe. He doesn't favor anyone. Instead, he comes up with a solution that is so simple, but so incredibly profound and unifying. It's a masterclass in problem solving. His solution was just beautiful. He takes out a sheet and lays it on the ground. He places the stone right in the middle. Then he invites a leader from every single tribe to come forward and take a corner of the sheet. And then all together, as one, they all lift the stone. Once it's at the right height, he, Al-Ameen, takes the stone and sets it in its final place. The honor wasn't given to one. It was shared by everyone. And here's maybe the most incredible detail of all from the source material. When he pulled off this amazing act of diplomacy and wisdom, he was just 23 years old. 23. So what happened next? Well, the solution wasn't just accepted, it was celebrated. The whole mood of the city just flipped. He had taken a moment of imminent violence and completely transformed it into a moment of shared victory. You see, the results were immediate and they were powerful. A huge disaster was avoided, for one, but more than that, his brilliant solution was praised by absolutely everyone. A situation that could have created generations of hatred was turned into this powerful symbol of unity. And for the people, it just completely affirmed their trust in his character, his piety, and his incredible sense of justice. And this brings us all the way back to our first question, doesn't it? This story isn't just a piece of history, it's a timeless lesson. And it leaves us with a really powerful question for our own lives, for our own world. Think about all the conflicts we see today, big and small. They're all about who gets the credit, who gets the honor. How many of those could be solved if we just shifted our focus from individual glory to a shared purpose? What could we build if we all just found a way to lift the weight together?